What's up everybody, this is Master Ian Gamer. Recently Blizzard announced that the Overwatch 2 beta will officially be starting in late April, and players can already sign up to get access to it since it will of course be a closed beta, so not everyone's going to get to play it. So if you haven't signed up for it just yet, what are you waiting for? Go and do it! But with the beta itself not actually starting for about another month, I wanted to do a video talking a little bit about what other sorts of new Overwatch 2 news and announcements we might end up seeing between now and when we actually get to play the Overwatch 2 beta. According to a post from one of the community managers on the Overwatch forums, we're going to have plenty of news to talk about between now and the first beta. So clearly it's not going to be radio silence between now and then, but in that case, what exactly can we expect over the next few weeks leading up to us actually getting to play it? Well, I think Blizzard may have actually indicated what we can expect in the beta announcement itself. Looking at one of the promo images which was teased on social media when the Overwatch 2 beta first got announced, we can see a list of some of the contents that'll be coming with the beta. And while many of these are things we're already quite familiar with, like the new push game mode, the various maps, the Sombra and Bastion reworks, other aspects of this are much more mysterious, such as Sojourn being added as a new hero, the reworks for Orisa and Doomfist, and of course, the brand new ping system. Now, maybe it'll be the case that Blizzard just is quiet on all these fronts up until the beta actually starts and we just have to see what they are and how they work once we actually get into the game, but something tells me that isn't going to be the case. Partially because, well, once again, the same Overwatch community manager I mentioned earlier flat out said that wouldn't be the case, at least when it comes to the ping system. Around the same time he made the post I just showed off, Andy B mentioned on the forums that we've been playing with the ping system in our daily playtests for a while. My personal perspective, it's incredibly useful. We'll have more details to share about it before beta starts, so stay tuned. Now, when it comes to this new ping system, I think it's going to rely heavily on just how complex of a system it actually is when trying to figure out what exactly Blizzard is going to say about it preemptively. For example, if it's as simple as they add a new key binding where you press a button and a little marker shows up on the map, and that's the full extent of the system, then there really isn't much to say about it, and maybe they'll just release like a Twitter video showing it in action to show how it works or something. But if it ends up being a lot more complicated than this, and maybe is on par with the different callouts you can use with the different voice commands in Overwatch 1 currently, then yeah, it might be worthwhile for Blizzard to put out a video showing players how this ping system works, what all the different icons or sounds for it might end up being, so that when players actually get their hands on the beta in late April, they'll at least already have some sort of rudimentary understanding of how it works, so we don't just get people spamming the ping and bombarding all these messages, which, I don't know, seems like it could be really annoying if people are just playing around with it and don't really know how it works. So at the very least, it sounds like we will be getting more information on this new Overwatch 2 ping system sometime over the next month, but how about that other, more hero-specific stuff that was mentioned in the announcement teaser, such as the brand new playable hero Sojourn and the reworks for Doomfist and Orisa? Well, taking a look at the reworks first, for a long time now I've been saying that some of the stuff we might have been getting over this first chunk of 2022 would be more hero rework reveals and showcases similar to what we got for Sombra and Bastion back in September. However, at this point, with there only being about a month left until the beta actually starts, I'm not so sure that Blizzard is going to have another big showcase in the same way they did for those other two heroes several months ago, because, I don't know, it just almost feels unnecessary at this point. So orchestrating some sort of big online event where they have the devs come in and do like a dev update for it or something, I don't know, I just don't really see that being how Blizzard handles it. What I do think we could end up getting though, very easily, is some sort of rundown of their hero changes, maybe their new abilities, changes to existing abilities, stuff like that, in the form of some sort of simple infographic, like what we saw released along with Bastion and Sombra's rework videos back when they got theirs announced, and just they could have this posted on like their social media, maybe on the official Overwatch website, just so that, like the ping system, players know what to expect from these hero changes prior to actually getting into the beta in late April. And I could see this being something they post maybe in the days leading up to when the beta actually starts, which at the time of making this video, we still don't have an exact date for it just yet. We just know it's going to be late April, but I'm willing to say that sometime probably closer to when the beta actually starts as opposed to now, Blizzard could very easily just be giving us more details on what these hero reworks are going to end up being. On top of that, if there's any other changes to other heroes that end up popping up, like maybe there'll also end up being some changes to Moira or Sigma or some of those other heroes who felt like they've been sort of in a state of flux when it comes to Overwatch and Overwatch 2. Maybe we'll end up seeing some changes or little posts or teasers hinting at what they end up getting as well. But I would just say don't get your expectations up for a big sort of event showcase like what we saw back in September, since I think the big event showcase at this point is just going to be the beta launching. So any of these other sort of hero reworks or changes that accompany it, I think are probably just going to be tacked on to that as being the big thing happening. But this then takes us to the next and certainly most exciting new thing we could end up seeing for Overwatch 2 leading up to the beta, which is more info on Sojourn. Specifically, I'm thinking we might be getting an official hero origin story video. As I'm sure many of you remember, back in the good old days when Overwatch actually got new heroes, each new hero that get added to the game would have a corresponding animated origin story. Usually it would showcase the hero's, well, origin, being their backstory, how they got where they are currently in the state of the game, and in some cases even give a little bit of a tease as to what the hero's abilities and role might end up being. Now, when it comes to Sojourn, we already know that she's going to end up being a damage hero, and we've even already gotten a sneak peek of a lot of her abilities back at BlizzConline in 2021, but still, this origin story could be a great way to flesh out her as a character as opposed to just a playable hero in the game, and could easily give us a lot more information about who exactly she is. We do know from her other limited appearances throughout the Overwatch story that she used to be a commander within the Overwatch organization, and that, like Genji, she has several cybernetic augmentations to her body, but perhaps an origin story could dig deeper into why exactly she's a cyborg in the way she is. We obviously know Genji had to go through a pretty traumatizing ordeal to end up being the person he is playable in-game, so it could be really interesting to get a similar sort of look into Sojourn's backstory as well, to see how and why she ended up becoming a cyborg, and how she personally dealt with that process, especially compared to Genji. And considering that Sojourn herself is supposed to be pretty focal to the storyline and plot of Overwatch 2, I think there's a lot of potential and a lot of good reason for Blizzard to release an origin story for her, or at the very least some sort of in-depth, blog post detailing her backstory and who she is, prior to us actually getting to play her in the upcoming Overwatch 2 beta. And also, maybe they could show us what her abilities actually are, what she actually does, those sorts of things, similar to how the reworks work. But personally, I'm much more interested in learning about her backstory, since I always like the characters and the world of Overwatch specifically. But if I'm being honest, I wouldn't complain about getting either of those. Whether it's ability details or an origin story, I would gladly take both. Now, touching on a few more last-minute smaller things I think we might end up seeing leading up to the Overwatch 2 beta. One of these is, of course, more hero redesigns with their Overwatch 2 looks as opposed to how they look by default in Overwatch 1. I thought it was really interesting how in the announcement for this Overwatch 2 beta, Blizzard just sort of casually showed off 4 more hero redesigns without even really acknowledging them. If you didn't see my previous video talking about these, just real quick, the ones we have are the new Brigitte and Zenyatta designs we can see here, in addition to Zenyatta again, as well as Sigma's new design in this image here, which was released as part of the official Overwatch 2 press kit for this announcement. And we can also see the new hero design for Hanzo as well, which admittedly is one that I missed in my original video, which was shown off again in another press kit image they released. But beyond just getting a look at these 4 new redesigns, which we'd never seen before, the fact that every single hero we see in any of these images shown off with this latest announcement are specifically in their Overwatch 2 new designs as opposed to their default Overwatch 1 looks, makes me think that by the time we actually get our hands on Overwatch 2 in the beta, we might actually get to see every single hero with their new Overwatch 2 design. I mean, specifically thinking about it in terms of the Overwatch League, which the next season will be played on presumably the same beta version that we are going to get to play on in late April, I'm going to go ahead and hazard a guess at this point that all the heroes we we actually see being played in the Overwatch League are probably going to have their Overwatch 2 skins. I mean, it would just be sort of awkward if like half of them, like Tracer, Reinhardt, Mei, if they were the Overwatch 2 designs, but then other heroes that we haven't had reveals for yet, like Junkrat, Orisa, Doomfist, if they were all just like Overwatch 1, that would just be weird to have some of them in their Overwatch 2 designs and others not. So then what, would they just make all the heroes the Overwatch 1 designs? That's not very exciting, especially if we've already gotten to see so many of the Overwatch 2 designs revealed thus far, which makes me think that the Overwatch League in early May will be played with all the new Overwatch 2 hero designs. And if that does end up being the case, then I could easily also seeing it be the case that we have access to all those skins as well in the Overwatch 2 beta, which means building up to the beta's release, we could maybe get some social media teasers showing off all these new skins and the new appearances, since there's still quite a few we have yet to see. But at the same time, Blizzard did just sort of casually drop these 4 as part of the beta announcement, so maybe at this point Blizzard just doesn't really care about making these new hero designs a big deal. I mean, heck, I know some have been kinda controversial, so maybe Blizzard is just like, let's just push them out but not really talk about them. But I don't know, that doesn't feel right. I think the ones that were revealed as part of the beta announcement were just to be nice flavoring to help build up the excitement of the announcement itself, and I do certainly think that Blizzard does care about having these redesigns be a big new feature of the sequel, so I think there's a good chance that Blizzard will be teasing more of them as time goes on over the next month or so, leading up to the beta actually starting, because as I said, I think there's a pretty realistic possibility that all those designs will be in the game when we actually get to play it in late April. But needless to say, I think there are going to be some very exciting things for Overwatch fans over the course of the next month, and certainly once we hit late April and actually get our hands on that playable Overwatch 2 beta. These have just been my thoughts on it though, so let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments down below. Do you think we're going to have big exciting things happening over the weeks ahead leading up to the beta starting? Or do you think Blizzard's gonna keep quiet, maybe give us a little details about the ping system, but otherwise not say anything until we actually get to see it all in the game ourselves? Either way, I'd love to hear from you, and thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, hit up that bell icon, and come join my Discord server to hang out and never miss any of my future Overwatch content. Special thanks to my YouTube channel members who help make these videos possible, and if you'd like to join them to earn some cool rewards, then just hit that join button down below. Otherwise, this is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.